Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. And yes, Charter of Rome is a code of conduct for journalists, for Italian journalists. We decided in 2008 to sign and to propose this conduct because the representation was really a problem in terms of words to be used, and also for the frame of the news. In 2011, we decided to create an association linked to the code to promote the code, to let them know, and also to promote trainings among journalists, among colleagues. And we are still fighting again with this theme. We have promoted many training sessions on this topic, on migration. The code of conduct is specific on migration, asylum seekers, refugees. And so in more than 10 years, we really try to push the debate among the professionals, journalists, on these topics. And I may say that the challenge is still there, of course, as you said about the titles of this daily. But at the same time, I think that if I see now the trend of the last 10 years, inside the editorial staff, also many things changes in terms of words used, and also the awareness that maybe one of the person this morning said, there's more awareness about the fact that we need really to reflect and also to do a very good job when we talk about migration, because we talk about people. And today I want just to share with you two reflections about two points. Many things have been said even this morning. I arrived and heard about change in the narratives, the perspectives, and also self-representation. And I just want to put to this floor 2 points. The first point regards the double standard. On the same days of the horror committed in the city of Bucha in Ukraine, in Mura, in Mali, other ferocious massacres took place in a town of 10,000 inhabitants in the central region of Mali. Between 300 and 500 people were slaughtered by between 27 and 31st of March, accused of being members or sympathizers of jihadist formations active in the country. According to a statement by the UN independent human rights expert in Mali and a detailed investigation that has been done by Human Rights Watch, the massacres are attributable to a government force supported by the now well-known Wagner Group. We know that the Russian Wagner Group is active in Syria, Libya, and Central Africa Republic. And so the same take place in the dramatic bombing. We all remember the dramatic bombing at the hospital in Mariupol last year. But we can't forget similar bombing as in January 2016, when the Saudis bombed the maternal and children's hospital in Sana'a, in Yemen, or when in November 2016, Russian bombing raid on Aleppo's, talking about Syria, hospital Al-Quds, killing 27 people, including doctors, patients, incubators, and all the people who were there. So during the lunch, we were talking about Afghanistan and other forgotten countries by mainstream media. And I think we as professionals, as journalists, but as in general, also NGO activists, we have to question if are the Afghan children who witnessed the death of their parents, like the Ukrainians, worth, or they are worthless of our indignation. Are Russian bomb on Ukraine uglier than Russian bomb on Syrians? Are American bombs or Saudi bombs on Yemenis more justifiable? And if not, why? So the Verita was discussing about the fact of the riots in France. Well, I think that on one side, in this side, the Ukrainian crisis and war has unveiled more than ever the double standards applied to war crimes, as well as the reception of refugees. We all know how was the mechanism displaced at European level to welcome all the Ukrainian refugees that was here, but it was never being taken into consideration and applied. So we already done, as Charter of Rome, we do every year an annual report, but we have also collaborated with other associations like COSPEN and others to see how much the foreign news are covered by Italian mainstream media. And in this case, we can say, for this double standard, we really saw the difference between the different words, the different refugees, the different asylum seekers, etc. So there are conflicts and crises with a visual impact, where mainstream media were all there, and they continue to be there. Others, like Afghanistan, that are there in the mainstream media only for 2 months and then stop. We don't know even one news on it. In this report, we called Illuminare le periferie, highlight the peripheries for the foreign news. We see that only 5% of the news come from Africa continent in the mainstream media, in the TV news in Italy, and 2% from Latin America. So the idea of the world is very limited, is a very limited world. And this is a problem. We have to enlarge, we ask to and call to enlarge the spaces in mainstream media to have this different perspective and the possibility to have a continuous news about the world in general, not only a part of the world. The second point, briefly, was about on my opinion, there was a changing in the narratives in Italian mainstream media regarding migration. And there was a turning point that is important and is linked to the visit of Pope trips in Lampedusa in 2003. Because we face a change in a shift of the words used regarding migration, because in that occasion it was very, very important because Pope described the persons in Lampedusa as persons. They are not refugees, they are not asylum seekers, they are persons. And regardless, they were escaping from war, from hunger, and so they also newspapers and journalists who were there covering the news were forced to change the word used, to change their perspective and the narratives. So this is a very important turning point that we really faced and catch in our annual reports. And coming to the point of the title of this session, which regarding the social cohesion, we see in the last annual report of the Charter of Rome that the voice of migrants and refugees in the news is increasing in the last year. The 21% of the news included the voice of migrants, let's say. But when we see why, we discovered that it was because of the Ukrainians that were present, they were more interviewed, more the direct voice of Ukrainians were more present. In the past, in the last 9 reports, the medium was 6-7%. So no, it was very different compared to nowadays. So John Austin, the English philosopher, said the words shape things and can shape reality and can change also reality. So we think that the words we use, the way, the frame we really work on regarding news are very important. And diversity, it was already mentioned in other relation, is also very important. We really think that diversity can be expressed also inside the editorial staff, which is a key for changing the perspectives, and also to build positive role models for youngsters, because it's very important what you said before about the fact that especially for children and youngsters, they need positive role model. And if they see also in the editorial staff, also in the news, in the primetime news, someone who is similar to him, to her, we think that they can change also the perspective of who is living this territory. A writer, I conclude, Jara Khan, of a second generation, let's say we can call here a Nigerian background writer, said that it is complex to live in a country where the discussion of racism is light years behind others. If I turn on television to talk about this issue, I often find groups of old white men. How can I feel represented? I feel invisible. So the thing to be visible or invisible is the question. To let the people, despite, regardless the status present, we think it's very important, and we have to push for this. Because as Achille Mbembe, a Cameroon philosopher, said, we have to build not a common world, but a world in common. So we have to find someone that can be shared, really. Thanks.